Amaka, now you be this. Diana, you don't blow. My sister, money don't finally locate me.
Amaka had no idea that this unexpected reunion with her old school classmates would change the way she saw her own marriage. Sometimes the person who changes your life is not the person who loves you, but the person who reminds you of the life you think you deserve. And for Amaka, one unexpected meeting with an old school classmate was about to reopen a door she should have left firmly closed. Because this time, it wasn't salon gossip that entered her marriage, it was money. And this money came with a face Amaka knew very well. Welcome to the Housewives, exclusively on Stories to Change Lives, where every family has a story and every story has a lesson. For days, the house had been hotter than Lagos traffic during rush hour. Amaka and Obinna had argued about money. They had argued about friends. They had argued about respect. They had even reached the point where both of them started asking themselves whether the marriage could survive. But eventually, something changed. One evening, Obinna came home earlier than usual. He found Amaka sitting quietly in the living room. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Obinna walked toward her. Amaka, she looked up. I know say things done hard between us. Amaka looked away. Obinna continued. But I no marry you because of money. I marry you because na you I love. Those words touched something inside Amaka. For the first time in weeks, she dropped her pride. Obinna, I'm sorry. He sat beside her. I know say I too get my own fault. Amaka leaned against his shoulder, and that night, the war finally ended. At least for the moment. The following weeks were different. Obinna started making Amaka laugh again. They ate together. They talked again. They watched movies on the sofa. Sometimes Obinna would tease her. Madam, you don't calm down. Amaka would laugh. I beg, leave me. Now you will nearly turn this house to boxing ring. Obinna! They both laughed. The tension disappeared. Their marriage began to feel like their old marriage again. Amaka even started appreciating the little things, the way Obinna checked on her, the way he called her during the day, the way he made sure she got home safely. One night they sat together on the balcony. Amaka rested her head on his shoulder. Obinna, yes, I miss when we were like this. He smiled. Then make we no allow anybody enter between us again. Amaka nodded. She meant it. Or at least she thought she did. Because life was preparing to introduce someone who would test everything they had just rebuilt. A few days later, Amaka went shopping. As she walked through an upscale Lagos shopping complex, someone suddenly called her name. Amaka? She turned around. Her eyes widened. Wait, is that really you? Standing in front of her was a woman she hadn't seen in years. It was Diana, her old secondary school classmate. Diana? They hugged excitedly. Aha, look at you. Look at you. They started laughing. Then Amaka noticed the expensive designer handbag, the luxury watch, the diamond necklace, the driver waiting outside. Amaka looked around. Diana, you don't blow? Diana laughed. My sister, life happened. Then she casually said, my husband is doing very well. Amaka smiled. How well? Diana smiled. Let's just say money no be problem. Amaka laughed, but she had no idea that those few words would stay in her mind. They sat at an expensive restaurant to catch up, and the old school gist began. Do you remember Mr. Johnson? Ah, that man. Both women burst into laughter. Remember the day you nearly broke the classroom window? I beg, now you push me. No be me. They laughed like teenagers again. Then Diana became quiet. Amaka, say you were actually one of the nicest people in our class. Amaka smiled. You self no bad. No, Diana shook her head. You were better than me. Amaka looked surprised. How? You used to help me when I didn't have money. You gave me food. You even paid my school fees once. Amaka waved a hand. Forget that one. Now old gist. Diana looked at her seriously. I never forgot. Then she reached across the table. You helped me when I had nothing. Now I have more than enough. Amaka smiled, but something about Diana's lifestyle had already caught her attention. Before they left, Diana made an offer. Amaka, come hang out with us this weekend. Us, my old school friends. We've been meeting every few weeks. Amaka hesitated. Diana smiled. Come on, you need to enjoy yourself small. Amaka laughed. My husband might complain. Diana waved her hand. Ah, you're married, not imprisoned. Amaka laughed, but that sentence stayed with her. That weekend, she went, and when she arrived, she couldn't believe what she saw. Luxury cars, expensive clothes, designer bags, women laughing and drinking expensive drinks. Everybody seemed to be living a different kind of life. Diana introduced her. This is Amaka, my old school sister. Everyone welcomed her, but one woman looked at Amaka's modest handbag, then at Diana, and smiled. That small look, Amaka noticed it. The women began talking about their husbands. My husband just bought me a new car. Another laughed. My own just paid for our Dubai trip. Another said, my husband transferred money to me this morning. Everyone laughed. Then somebody asked Amaka, so, what about your husband? Amaka smiled awkwardly. My husband is doing fine. How fine? Amaka didn't know what to say. Then Diana interrupted. Leave her. But the conversation had already entered Amaka's mind. On her way home, she kept thinking, why can't my life look like this? Obinna was loving. Obinna was faithful. Obinna cared for her. But suddenly, those things didn't feel as impressive as they had before. And that was dangerous because comparison has a way of making what you have look small. That evening, Obinna noticed Amaka was unusually quiet. Baby, wetin happen? Nothing. You sure? Yes. Then Amaka looked at him. Obinna, how much do you earn? He frowned. Why you dey ask? Just asking. He laughed. Why? Amaka looked around the room. I think we should upgrade our lifestyle. Obinna smiled. Upgrade how? New car, new house, more expensive holidays. Obinna stared at her. Amaka, where all this one come from? She shrugged. I just want better things. Obinna became serious. Are you not happy with what we have? Amaka immediately replied, I didn't say that, but her tone said something else. A few days later, Amaka went out with Diana again. This time, she didn't tell Obinna the full details. When she returned late, Obinna was waiting. Where you dey? Outside. Outside where? Diana's place. You could have called. My phone was with me. Amaka, I'm not asking for trouble. I'm asking because I was worried. Instead of apologizing, Amaka became defensive. Why are you monitoring me? Obinna looked shocked. Monitoring you? Yes. Since when did asking my wife where she is become monitoring? Amaka folded her arms. You don't understand. Then explain. I don't have to explain everything. Silence. Obinna shook his head. This is happening again. Amaka walked away. But this time, the problem wasn't the salon. It was the new world she had started looking at. The more Amaka spent time with Diana and her wealthy friends, the more she changed. She started criticizing their house. Why is our sofa like this? She complained about their car. She complained about their vacations. She complained about Obina's clothes. One morning, Obina wore a simple shirt. Amaka looked at him. Obina, yes, you need to upgrade your wardrobe. He laughed. Why? You're looking too ordinary. Obina looked down at himself. Ordinary. Yes, he became quiet. Amaka, what? Are you now ashamed of me? She didn't answer, and that silence hurt him more than any argument. That evening, Obina finally confronted her. Amaka, who are these people you're always following? She looked at him. My friends. Friends? Yes. Since when? Since I met them. Obina shook his head. You met them recently, and suddenly your entire life is no longer good enough. Amaka became angry. Don't talk about my friends. I will talk about them if they are destroying my marriage. Destroying your marriage? Yes! Amaka laughed bitterly. You're just insecure. Obina stared at her. Insecure? Yes. You don't want me to have friends. Have friends? Then why are you changing? I'm growing. Obina replied. No, Amaka. You're comparing. That word hit her, but instead of thinking about it, she got even angrier. One afternoon, Diana invited Amaka to her mansion. The house was enormous. The compound looked like a hotel. Luxury cars were parked outside. Amaka looked around. Diana, this place is a serious something. Diana laughed. My sister, you haven't seen anything. They sat in the living room. Then Diana asked, Are you happy? Amaka looked confused. Yes. Diana smiled. Really? Yes. Then why do you keep telling me about your husband's limitations? Amaka went quiet. Diana leaned closer. You deserve more. Amaka swallowed. You're married to a billionaire. Your husband should be giving you the kind of life you want. Amaka stared at her. Diana had planted another seed, and this one was growing fast. That night, Obina tried to talk to Amaka. Baby, let's talk. About what? Us. There is no problem. There is a problem. He looked directly at her. I feel like I'm losing you. For a moment, Amaka softened, but then she remembered Diana, the cars, the mansion, the lifestyle, the women, and she became cold again. Maybe you're losing me because you're not giving me what I want. Obina looked devastated. So money is now the reason you married me. Amaka immediately said, No, but the damage had been done. Obina stood up. I loved you when I had very little. I thought you loved me too. Amaka remained silent. And that night, they slept on opposite sides of the house. The following weekend, Diana organized another old school hangout. Amaka went. The music was loud. Everyone was laughing. They were remembering their school days, but something was different now. Amaka wasn't just enjoying the reunion, she was comparing. She looked at Diana, then at the other women, then at herself. She suddenly felt like she was behind. One woman laughed and said, Amaka, your husband better step up. Oh! Everyone laughed, but Amaka didn't. She took the statement seriously. She picked up her phone and for the first time, she typed a message to Obina she would later regret. We need to talk seriously when I get home. Amaka arrived home. Obina was sitting quietly in the living room. He looked tired. She walked in. Obina, he looked up. Yes? I want to ask you something. Ask if you really love me. Why can't you give me the life I want? Obina stared at her. He didn't answer immediately. Then he slowly stood up. Amaka, yes, there is something you don't know. Her expression changed. What? Obina walked towards the table and picked up a document. I've been keeping this from you because I didn't want money to change us. Amaka stared at the document. What is that? Obina looked at her and then he said, You think I can't give you the life those people have? He paused. But you have no idea what I've been building behind your back. Amaka's eyes widened. What are you saying? Obina held the document tightly. Tomorrow you'll know. Amaka thought she had finally found the kind of life she wanted, but what she didn't know was that the husband she had begun to underestimate was hiding a secret that could change everything. Was Obina really struggling, or had Amaka been looking in the wrong direction all along? Find out on the next episode of The Housewives, only on Stories to Change Lives. To be continued.